So I decided to get my morning grind on, man, and basically talk about the BS and the BS narratives that been getting pushed pertaining to a fight potentially happening with Tank and Devin Haney. You know, the funny thing is, like I said, these narrative pushers and these fun boys, they rather push fights away than push forward with fights. At the end of the day, you just hearing, if it's not Tank fanboys, people from Tank's team keep talking about, oh, what are the real pay-per-view numbers? What is this? What is that? Like, at the end of the day, David Haney has proved he was a hot commodity. And now one of the things that the Tank fans is pushing basically to try to once again be managers and try to negotiate on behalf of Tank is the fake pay-per-view numbers. That 50,000 pay-per-view stuff is capped. Now, before you come on here and say, well, Bob Arum said this. See, and this is what pisses me off about Bob Arum. One minute you can't stand what Bob Arum says, and you'll call him a liar, and you'll say he's this and that. But then you'll say, oh, well, if Bob Arum said it, then it's factual. It's only factual when you agenda pushing. One thing about me, my channel is not based off what some a promoter say. Look, Bob Arum, you have to think. I'll take it with a grain of sand, because I take it with a grain of sand when Bob Arum says something. Now, keep in mind, before you bring up the Fight Hype interview that he did with Fight Hype, he said, well, he heard. Once again, he didn't say he had definitive proof. He's saying he heard. See, that's the key word, he heard. Listen, we all know who started spreading this rumor about the pay-per-view numbers were low, just like this is the same person that said Tank's pay-per-view numbers were low, what was reported, who said that, well, he said Tank versus Cruz did like 60,000, Tank versus Garcia really did around 50,000. And this is why some people question his credibility. So like I said, we know where this came from. And then basically he threw basically Sir Nose, aka Leonard Ellaby, a lifeline. Basically an excuse to justify not trying to negotiate and make a fight. Like I said, you guys are clowns who want to sit up there and say, well, Devin Haney is side and he need to just take whatever. Look, we went through this for the last five years with Spence and Crawford, and we shouldn't have to go through this again. But like I said, this is your black boy for Al Heyman, because at the end of the day, Al Heyman don't have the guts to address the media and address certain things that's going on. But you guys sit up there and always suck it up to Al Heyman, and then you try to shame and ridicule anybody who calls PBC out for their well-known antics to basically push black fighters to the back burner in favor of Hispanic fighters, primarily Mexican fighters. At the end of the day, they won't Tank to fight another come forward Mexican. You hearing people sit up there, oh, well, why don't Bill say what the real pay-per-view numbers is? He already said that it was capped. And DAZN is a privately owned company, so they never release pay-per-view numbers. But the thing is, like I said, with you fake pro-black Negroes, you wasn't concerned what Canelo's pay-per-view numbers was. You don't worry about what Canelo is getting paid. But you all of a sudden want to try to down and demean another black man. Y'all should be calling the PBC out and saying, hey, make the fight. But at the end of the day, this is what they do on a regular basis, because the PBC motto is, their mission statement is anybody but the brother. Anybody but the brother. And they've been doing this for a long time. That was Floyd Mayweather's motto. Anybody but a black fighter. So like I said before, Floyd passed that blueprint on to Tank Davis. And he saw he could do that with Tank Davis. Like I said, Tank Davis really didn't hit the jackpot until the Ryan Garcia fight, which Ryan Garcia, based off his social media popularity, helped sell that fight. Now, after Ryan Garcia got his ass handed to him by Tank in a fight, which we all knew that Tank was going to win that fight. And we all knew that Ryan Garcia eventually was going to make a mistake and he was going to walk into something. But you have Devin Haney, who's a real threat to Tank Davis, and they don't want to make the fight because they keep talking about pay-per-view numbers. Like I said before, what was Ryan Garcia's pay-per-view numbers before he fought Tank? Was they worried about that? No. Was they worried about any of the last guys they fought pay-per-view numbers? But all of a sudden, they want to use Devin Haney's pay-per-view numbers. But I already knew they was going to do that. I already saw this coming, basically to get out of making that fight. I knew that they was going to, like I said before, why did Leonard Ellaby and everybody wait till after the original pay-per-view numbers were released to say, oh, well, I heard. So you heard like a day and a half, 2 days later, what it's supposed to really have did, according to you. But then at the end of the day, you narrative pushers roll with that. See, the difference between me and you guys, I want the fight to happen. I want the fight to happen now. There's no reason why the fight can't happen. Tank doesn't have nothing going on. Devin doesn't have nothing going on. And at the end of the day, people talking about the $20 million offer was cap and it was bogus. So now all of a sudden the Saudis don't got the money. Who was going to finance that fight? And if you go listen to my stream with the Cali Enigma I did Sunday night, where he broke down what was going on. And that's why I brought it on, because unlike you guys, we're really doing our research. Like I said before, it's funny, once again, you let people prove who you really are. So all of a sudden you value a non-black's opinion over black people's opinion, over black media, who really trying to give y'all the fact. I have nothing invested in this, except that I want this fight to happen. Yeah, Bill is my friend, but at the end of the day, they are trying to make that fight. They're focused on making that fight. And like I said, a lot of you guys that are pushing this about that a Tank and Devin fight won't be successful happen to be black. But then you going around calling other people sellouts and Uncle Toms and house niggas and coons and all that stuff, when in fact you guys are the real coons. You're basing your logic based off propaganda that was put out by a reporter, in particularly a white reporter. Not gonna say the guy's name because we know it's gonna be niggas that's gonna come out there and defend him, because like I said, at the end of the day, that's what a lot of you niggas do. You love defending your white zaddy. But I know this dude has an agenda too as well. Now when Tank's alleged so-called numbers were getting put out, oh, that's a lie. Oh, that's a lie. He's capping. But now when it pertains to Devin Haney, oh, well, if he said then it's the gospel. See, that's the difference. That's the difference. What's up, Scotty? That's the difference between me and everybody else. That's the difference between me and everybody else. I'm making the phone calls. I'm calling everybody. Does it really matter what the pay-per-view numbers were? Let's get past that. Like I said before, and then you heard Leonard Ellaby, Sir Knows himself, basically tweet, "Oh, well, Tate doesn't have to fight in Saudi Arabia if he doesn't want to. Oh, he's the only one that can make an offer." Well, what is your offer? What are you offering? What's your counter offer? This is basically the same as buying a car. You go to the dealer, you go to the dealership, they say, hey, we'll give you this car for this amount of money, which, by the way, at the end of the day, the dealership really don't, you know what I'm saying? The dealership is really the middleman. They basically make their money off whatever you put down for the down payment, and when they find a finance company to finance the car. That's pretty much what you make an offer, like how much you gonna put down on the car and what you want your car note to be. And that's pretty much what's going on. But yet you ain't heard no counter offers from Tank. Instead, they sitting up here tweeting or blocking people, anybody that questions them and asks them about this fight. I have nothing invested in neither party except I want for this fight to happen. I don't want to wait till 2026, 2027 for this fight to happen. The PBC been doing this for years. They've been doing this for years. And it started with Floyd. The Saudis have unlimited money. Does it really matter where Tank fight? I thought it's about getting max amount of money. So the $20 million offer was legit. Tank was going to get the $20 million just for signing on the dotted line. So now all of a sudden, the Saudis don't have the money. While they sitting up here building state-of-the-art temporary stadiums in less than a couple of months. They got Deontay Wilder sitting up in a facility that they pretty much built just for him. So explain that to me. And then I bring up this thing with the weight. So let me get this straight, okay? I say this once again. It's the same as Carissa Shields. Well, if you've been dropped and hurt and sparring before, well, why are you so angry about a video coming out of you getting put on your ass? And you sitting up here like basically crying about it and whining about it. My thing is, if Tank them, according to them, this came out of their mouth. This came out of Calvin Ford's mouth. This came out of Team Davis' mouth. Hey, you know, Tank is sparring heavyweights. Tank is knocking down heavyweights. Tank is knocking down cruiserweight. Tank is knocking down middle. So heavyweight weight. You're gonna assume anything over 200 pounds, right? How much is cruiserweight? Well, a little bit past 200 pounds, depending on who the same. What is a super middleweight? Well, anything a little bit past 168 pounds. And what is middleweight? Anything pretty much over 160. So last time I checked, Devin Haney is campaigning at 140. And last time I checked, 140 is less than 200 pounds, unless I'm doing backwards math or I'm dyslexic and I see this in a different way. So if Tank is dropping and having success sparring guys that big, well then why is they worried about somebody rehydrating to 165 pounds if quote unquote you are knocking down, brutalizing heavyweights, cruiserweights, light heavyweights, super middleweights. So do that make any kind of sense? Make sense of that. I mean, help me understand that. Am I doing what George W. Bush used to say, fuzzy math? So now all of a sudden, they concerned about the weight. I understand Team Haney is, I understand that they the B-side. They are requirements that they're going to have to meet. They want to make this fight, but it appears that Team Haney isn't going to get that fight anytime soon. They've already said they're not going to be weight trained. But how come nobody wasn't concerned about Canelo's numbers with DAZN? When DAZN never actually pointed out what Canelo's pay-per-view numbers was on the zone, but then all of a sudden now everybody's worried about what Devin Haney's pay-per-view numbers is, and use that as an excuse to push back a fight. My thing is, if this light punching, chinny, boring fighter, Devin Haney, is such easy work for Tank, then wouldn't Tank jump at the chance to make this fight if he's going to be such easy work? Help me understand that. And like I said, that's the difference between me and other people. Like I said before, I march to the beat of my own drum. I don't take care. I don't take care of nobody but myself. And like I said, everybody is allowed to have an opinion. And I'm just giving my opinion on this particular subject. Like I said, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you try to sugarcoat it, Team Davis is looking real bad right now. That's just the bottom line. They're looking real bad right now. They looking like they don't want the fight. Whether you think they're scared, semi-scared, or worried about it, whatever the case, they're looking real bad right now. But it's the moniker. This is the mission statement of the PBC. Give everybody else a chance except black fighters. And at the same time, dog out, ostracize anybody that's part of the media that calls out the PBC. That questions the antics of Al Heyman. And then the funny part is Tank is having issues with the PBC themselves. Keep in mind, Tank is threatened to leave Al Heyman on several occasions. At the end of the day, Tank was just complaining about that he wasn't allegedly seeing the money that they were putting out that he was supposed to be making. But see, nobody wants to talk about that, how he's been dissatisfied and had issues with Al Heyman and the PBC. How he's called out Floyd Mayweather. So y'all seem to forget certain things. But in the words of the late, great Minnie Riperton, we going to go back down memory lane. And this is just recent. Tank was complaining about the money. Tank made most of his money off the back end with the Ryan Garcia fight. Now, it happened to be very successful. You could go look this up. You Google this information. Tank was only guaranteed $5 million for the Ryan Garcia fight. Ryan Garcia was guaranteed 2.5. That's what they got. And then the other money was based off what the fight does. Now, the fight did a legit 1.2 million buys. So here's the thing, though. Let me ask you this. You worried about Devin Haney's numbers. How come you ain't asking what Ryan Garcia did in his last fight? What was Ryan Garcia's numbers on the zone? Yeah, there you have it. It's just amazing to me what we do in our community, how brainwashed we is. The Stockholm Syndrome thing. Sad. It's very sad. And it's disappointing to see this kind of stuff. Just is, man. And then based off the fact Leonard Ellaby proved that it was offered by basically what he tweeted when he said, "Oh, if Tank wants to fight out there, it'll be on his terms." So once again, what's your counter offer, Team Davis? You said everything except, well, what's your offer? Because at the end of the day, we know that Tank really isn't going to fight Devin Haney next anyway. We already know who he's going to fight. And all likely, it'll be some Mexican fighter. And to try to justify it, they'll say, well, look at what Devin Haney did. Look at his numbers. So if he fights El Rayo next, Jose Valenzuela, but what is his pay-per-view numbers headlining? Like I said, Team Davis ain't never worried about nobody else's pay-per-view numbers except a black fighter. And I'm asking this question once again. Why ain't you guys worried about what Ryan's pay-per-view numbers is? What did he do in his last fight that was on the zone? Why ain't people reporting what his pay-per-view numbers is? So let me get this straight. Y'all know what Devin did on the zone pay-per-view, but you don't know what Ryan Garcia did. I dropped the mic on y'all. All of a sudden, whenever we talk about trying to get two black fighters to fight, then all of a sudden you dudes want to talk about ticket sales, you want to talk about pay-per-view number. This is the same shit that y'all was doing with Smith versus Crawford. Same thing. Oh, what is Bud doing? Oh, Bud ain't selling no tickets. Bud can't sell out. Well, as a dude that was in attendance, so you can't pull that with Devin Haney, because I was in San Francisco. I was there. I think I got some footage. of the event. I might dig it up because if you know about me, once I post the footage, I don't keep that footage. Now I do got an app on my phone where if I need something in case of emergency, I could find these files. I can find the videos and everything. But I think I do got an overall aerial view, a 360 aerial camera view of how packed that place was. And you could ask anybody that was there. That place was packed. 16,000 people cheering Devin Haney on. So you guys don't have me fooled. So you can't say. And then I already knew that they was putting this in play to try to find a way to get out of that fight. Basically putting a game plan together to justify not making that fight immediately. Now keep in mind, it was already announced through all the publications that the fight was sold out. My homeboy, shout out to my brother. I'm a little disappointed in him, but he my brother, Ben Saucy Boxing. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to attend the fight because the day of the fight, which I told him don't wait till the day of the fight that the event was sold out. Well, he wasn't able to get tickets because the event was sold out. So I already knew that they was going to put this in play. I already knew that the PBC had a game plan because they started talking greasy when they found out that the fight was sold out. So basically to further try to demean the fight and try to demean Devin Haney as being a potential opponent, Tank tweets, oh, it should be sold out because you had tickets for $50. Let me tell y'all something. That if y'all could go look this up, I thought it was a joke. I had to double research this. Do you know that the Carolina Panthers is selling tickets for 45 cents? So I guess they ticket sales is so bad to where they selling tickets for under $1. They should have a sellout every game. The Carolina Panthers, go look it up. It was sent to me. And at the end of the day, what's wrong with making an event affordable to where you could bring more than one person? But I thought Tank was a street dude. He should understand that more than anybody. But then you got dudes like Ellie Setback on their DJ Blad thing, like instigating and talking about, look how much people is paying to come see you fight. Versus somebody looking out for families. And Devin Haney should be celebrated for that. That they made sure that the tickets were affordable. I thought that's the goal, to make people be able to come see an event. make tickets affordable because we're always complaining about how much tickets cost. You know how much it costs to go see the Super Bowl? You'll be lucky if you get a Super Bowl ticket for $1,000. Lucky. And like I said before, it's hard to sell out a event. Like I said, ask the Charlos. Once again, who fought? Ask Jamel and Jamal Charlo, who can't even rev up 5,000 people to come see them fight in their hometown in Houston. Basically, they had to, basically Jamel had to fight in Carson, California at a tennis stadium at capacity that holds 8,000 to 9,000 people. And they still couldn't get people to come watch that fight. And they was selling tickets for as low as $25. Errol Spence didn't sell out his last fight in Dallas. And he had tickets for his, had tickets between $30 and $45, depending on what ticket outlet you look at. But nobody was talking about that. Nobody would talk about Errol Spence's ticket sale, but all of a sudden you worried about what Devin Haney allegedly sold. And that's why I have to call the PBC out, because they do this stuff. And then their fanboys is about trying to demean other black fighters, but they don't do this with Canelo. Like I said, you don't keep track of what Canelo is selling. Don't keep track of his pay-per-view numbers, but all of a sudden you want to keep track of what Devin Haney is doing. Want to keep track of his ticket sales, how much his tickets cost. Don't matter. He sold out the place. And then another reason why they decided to open up sections and make those tickets cheaper is because, one, the cost of living where I'm at in the Bay Area is extremely high. I'll talk to a lot of those reporters. They were saying they had to get Airbnbs because they said the hotels wanted too much money. But this is y'all. But this is the games and the tactics that you guys play. Like I said, you only do this with brothers. I'm just trying to get the fight made. I just want this fight to happen. But y'all don't really want it to happen. And whatever the case may be, whether you think Tank is scared, not scared, semi-scared, and all this kind of stuff, they're looking real bad right now. You walked away from a guaranteed $20 million. He was good. The $20 million is just for him signing the contract. But Leonard Ellaby acted like these people don't have the money, they don't have the proof of funds and all this kind of stuff. And these people in Saudi Arabia is financing all this stuff. They paid for a lot of people to come see Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. They were paying for the plane fare. They were, putting them in hotels, giving them gifts, giving them like $20,000 watches. I can tell you this much. If they pay for me to go out there and cover a fight, if I don't be out there, I'm gonna have a correspondent out there. You could best believe that. But yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is the game. This is the game people play. So anybody that's sitting up here talking about that $20 million offer was bogus and all that kind of stuff, nah, it was legit. But I'm going to tell you another thing, and you connect the dots. July 29th has a lot to do with this too. And then basically the history of PBC fighters. When they basically outsourced to do joint pay-per-view ventures and joint cross-promotional ventures, they don't fare very well. And at this point, Tank is pretty much the PBC stable because Canelo, they don't really consider Canelo a PBC fighter. He's like what a lot of hip hop people were saying, what's the dude with Brand Nubians? what dude's name is Lord Jamal, what he was saying about Eminem being a guest in hip hop. Well, Canelo is a guest with the PBC. And what I mean by that, he's not a PBC made fighter. He's a temporary resident. Temporary resident. But Tank is a dude that's pretty much been with them since its inception. So they can't afford for him to lose another fight. So that's why they got to align him with the dudes he's been fighting. And like I said before, y'all wasn't asking what Canelo's pay-per-view numbers was on the zone. Y'all don't have no problem with him getting his money. But then you want to sit up here and down Devin Haney and say what he doesn't deserve and what he should get and what he should. Like I said before, y'all be doing this stuff. Y'all demean and degrade your own kind. It's y'all. It's y'all. It's y'all, not me. So there you have it. That's one of the real reasons. That's really probably the most logical reason why they really don't want to make this fight. Because like I said, Canelo and Bud are guests. They're PBC guests. They not PBC OGs. But Tank pretty much is. And like I said, based off the fact how Errol Spence got like pretty much eviscerated by Terrence Crawford, you know. And I gotta say this, once again, I'm not gonna say nobody's name, but I see it's a couple of individuals on the side note before I get back to Tank and close out this video. It's one particular individual. This dude is starting to come across as a weirdo. Dude is starting, and don't say his name in the comment section either. This dude, like, I've never seen one person, every other video he makes is a Terrence Crawford. I mean, this dude is literally a Terrence Crawford. Kind of weird, man. Kind of weird, man, how this dude just, every other damn video is about Bud Crawford. I'm like, bro, you like literally is obsessed with this dude, man. Every other video. Weird. Weird. And for real, don't say dude's name. You know who I'm talking about. And then I'm trying to figure out why his videos show up in my time feed. I'm not subscribed to that dude. So I'm thinking when another YouTuber watch your videos, stuff about them show up in your time feed sometimes. Just like I know for a fact that Stephen A. Smith watched my videos because I didn't notice he didn't stole a couple of talking points from me. But that's cool. That's cool. Just goes to show you the impact that I'm making. Which, by the way, ESPN been stealing a lot of stuff from people because I know ESPN stay biting my boy Too Raw for TV. Shout out Too Raw for TV. Go subscribe to this channel. But yeah, in closing, you guys, that's what it really come down to. They just can't afford for another, top PBC guy to lose a fight. Because at the end of the day, Tank is still young. But I want you to take a good look at, what's going on with another guy. As you can see, Deontay Wilder took control. Go, dude. Shout out to Deontay Wilder for basically taking control of his career and finally not letting one dude control every move he make. Because I find that very strange how one dude controls every move a dude make. But that's the real reason. And I was listening to something that 7A said they they do better hope that Tank don't have a stumbling block, fighting all these Hispanic fighters. Because you never know that Tank could have a Mexican version of Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas. And then if that happens, then what? So I'm just saying, just keeping it real. But anyway, appreciate you guys. I'm out.